everybody, to another Interview Thursday. Thank you again for joining us this evening. And all the way from Romania here, we have a special guest with us, Woman International Master Raluca Sgircea. I can do it. I tried so hard to get it. How do you pronounce it?
Sgircea.
Sgircea. That's how it is.
And you had it before, Matthew.
Darn, I was so close. I was like trying to get it. Anyway, she is kind enough to be with us today, and it is very late for her as well. About 11:30.
Yeah.
At night. So please welcome her warmly. And so, how are you doing this evening?
Everything fine, thank you. It's all going well. Staying safe inside.
Yes, pretty much. That's all we can do nowadays. Yeah. So go ahead and talk to us about who you are and what it is you do for chess, I guess. Mm-hmm.
Well, I am an women international master, as you mentioned. I'm also a FIDE trainer. I am a professional chess player, though I haven't been playing for the past year because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But now I have been teaching a lot, so that's perfect as well.
Yeah, and that is very, very rewarding, I'm sure. Do you ever perform in tournaments online as well?
I haven't played online. I've played, I played last year some rapid national tournament that they organized online. But I don't like playing online very much. I don't feel the same way as in tournament. It's completely different.
Right. And by the way, guys, I looked her up on YouTube as well, and her content is excellent. She is a fantastic educator, so please go ahead and check her out as well. I believe it's just her name.
Thank you.
So go ahead and let us know as well, what got you into chess, and what age did you start?
Well, it's my father who got me into chess. Mm-hmm. He used to play a lot. I know he tells me stories about how he used to play with my grandparents, with his cousins, and who's the cousin he used to beat, and which cousin used to beat him. And now they still play when we go visit my grandparents. It's a lot of fun. So he was very much into chess, but he never played competitively. So he taught me when I was 3 years old. He was also teaching me. He was showing me games. We had these books at home of Florin Gheorghiu and the famous Romanian grandmaster who beat Fischer. Mm-hmm. He's very famous here because of that. And we used to go through his games at home and study. He even made some chess tournaments just for fun between him and myself, and he made his diplomas at some point. Yeah, he was trying to make it fun for me.
That is awesome. It's great to have support from your family. That does change the dynamic very much when you learn.
Yeah, definitely.
I bet now you could probably beat him with your eyes closed and you just can't touch it.
He won't play with me anymore, you know?
Oh, no! Oh, man.
But now he's actually asking me, are you still into that chess thing? Aren't you going to give up? It was just when you were a kid. This is really going on.
Don't you see the title in front of my name? No, I love this.
You made me do it.
That is fantastic of how far you've come along as well. When did you first obtain your title? Actually, was it WIM first?
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, actually I got WFM first, but I don't remember when that happened.
Okay.
I got the WIM in 2011, just because I checked with FIDE. I didn't remember that. Okay. But I do remember the tournament where I got that. I remember it was an international tournament at the seaside in Romania. Okay. But I had to win my last round. And I was playing a very strong international master. And I think that was the first time I beat someone who was really strong. Mm-hmm. He was very close to 2400. And I was very happy to have this win. He was also very famous.
Oh, that is amazing. And the fact that you got it on such a strong player is like title deserved, right?
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. It felt really well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Felt good.
Have you traveled outside of the country to perform in tournaments as well?
Yes, of course. That was my life before COVID.
Okay. Where was your favorite?
My favorite, I think, is in Spain. There's a tournament, an international open in Benasque, which is a very small, it's a resort actually in the mountains, in the Pyrenees. And it's a very big tournament. It's maybe one of the biggest in Spain. Many people come there. They come from everywhere. It's also very strong. Mm-hmm. A few years ago, the winner was Julio Granda. sometime before I now see his face. He's a very strong Indian grandmaster.
I don't think this
Iran.
one on and on, but
Iran.
probably not.
Sasik Iran, he won it a few years back, so it's it's a top tournament. It's a great one. But it's not only because of that. It's just the place is amazing. The weather is amazing. It's in July. It's very hot everywhere, and you go to the mountains, and it's kind of fresh.
Yep.
The food is great. So it's not just the tournament. They also have many activities outside the chess. They have blitz tournament. They have a football tournament as well. They even have darts. It's.
Yeah, there are all the different tournaments there. I mean, the best reason to visit other countries is for the food, I must say.
Right? I think that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I actually forgot what I was going to segue that into. Oh, okay. Let's go ahead and talk about your hobbies as well. What else do you like to do that is not chess?
That is not chess. Before I used to like photography. Well, I still like photography, but the thing is that now I can't practice it anymore.
Right.
But I got a camera a few years back. I actually got it. It was in Puerto Rico, that I got it. And from that moment on, I started taking it with me in tournaments. I was taking pictures of players just for fun. I learned a bit of Photoshop and Lightroom with that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I can edit them. And then we bought this traveling chess set, magnetic chess set that I still have, and I used to take it everywhere in tournaments and take pictures with it. If we went to a very beautiful city, I would just take my chessboard out and take some pictures with the surroundings and with the chessboard. Amazing. You can see some of them on my Instagram account.
Yep, go ahead and check her out on that as well. Is it just your name? Raluca?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raluca what?
I'm not going to even attempt that one again. It's her first and last name, guys. It's much easier that way. And also, I saw that you put another post out, and this was a very interesting talking point that I wanted to bring up in terms of physical well-being when competing. Also, you're the first. I think you labeled it as the first chess master or woman chess master to bench, I forgot exactly what it was. Bench like 150.
I was deadlifting.
Or deadlifting, 150.
Yeah, 100 kilos. Yeah.
Okay, kilos. I don't know what the conversion is to pounds, guys, but go ahead and check it out.
200 and something, yeah.
Oh, she knows it. Darn.
Yeah, because some of the things in the gym are in Libra, so I have to convert it back to kilos, so I just know what I'm.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
What I'm talking about there, what I put on my bar.
Mm-hmm. Now, how would you be able to relate this to chess as a competitive sport? Or do you already do that?
Well, I think that it gives you resistance, and you need that in chess. You need to keep focused for a long time, and lifting at least requires a lot of concentration. You don't just go there and you put a lot of weight on your back and you squat it. You need to have a certain mindset.
Right.
I also think it gives you a lot of self-confidence, at least in my case, because you kind of have to believe it first. I think it always happens that it's in your mind. Everything is in your head. You believe that you can lift that and it will move off the ground. And you believe that you can achieve something in chess as well. And you'll eventually do it. Yes, you have to work towards that, but you really have to believe it first to make it happen.
Actually, so guys, that's going to be a perfect segue going right into our games today. Her second two games will be building right on that, where if you believe that you can win, anything is possible. So let's go ahead and hop in. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, sweet. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and transition over. Cool, I got that stuff going. All right, go ahead and talk to us about this first game here, who it is against, and the tournament's setting.
This is an Italian grandmaster. I think right now he's rated over 2600. He's very strong. And it was played in Italy in a tournament in Sgircea. That's in Sicily.
Okay.
So it was a very nice setup as well. A beautiful island, beautiful country, good food.
Gotta have the food.
Yeah, gotta love the food. Italian food must be the best, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh. How's Romanian food, by the way?
Romanian food is good, but I think for my taste at least, it has a lot of meat. I'm a vegetarian, so that's not really my thing.
Oh, there you go, guys.
It's good. My fiance loves it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right, so,
yeah, and this is, I don't know which round this was. It was, I think, in the middle of the tournament, nothing decisive. I had played him before in another tournament in Italy, and I had lost. I had a good position and then messed it up. I also had white. And in that game, I played the Reti, but here I decided to go. Okay, I knew that he would play the kid. But here he goes for g6 directly. No, he doesn't play knight f6. He doesn't play d6. And this move order allows me to have options. Like here, for example, with a knight on f6, I couldn't go e4.
Correct.
So here I go for the perk instead, because I really like this setup with c3, which is not the main line, but I think it's quite solid, especially against a very strong player. You know what you have to do here, which is basically get your pieces out, castle, then go to the center. And now he plays knight c6, which provokes d5. And this is always the idea for black. Well, always, or many times in the kid, in the structure, they provoke d5 because they want to go back and then get to c5 somehow, no? d7 or put a pawn on a5, and then that knight is going back. So they are not wasting a move, but just getting some good squares for the knight. So here I go c4, and now we approach the normal King Indians structures. He goes a5. Yeah, because he needs to prevent b4. Before he puts the knight on c5, he wants to make sure that this won't happen.
Right.
And then I get my knight out. Knight a6. I think this is quite standard, so I won't spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Rook e1.
I mean, mostly it's getting to a playable position, and especially against a much stronger adversary.
Yeah, this is just the opening, where you get the pieces out and you choose what you want to play at home already. It's not something that you invent over the board.
Right. And you should never do that.
No, you should never do that. No, that ends up badly usually.
And does the fact that you played him before make you feel more prepared?
I think it kind of helped me with my preparation somehow, because I chose a different line.
Okay.
In this game.
Gotcha.
I didn't go for the Reti. I didn't play with g3. No, I went for a different setup.
Okay.
Yeah, so here I play rook e1 because there are two plans in this position where this knight gets to c5, you can drop the bishop back to c2. And then there is this other plan where the bishop can go to f1. And I like this one better. So I play rook e1 here, make some room for the bishop, also defend e4. And here, yeah, knight c5, I go bishop f1. But he played e5 in this position. I wasn't really expecting this, so here I start thinking. And the first thing that I look at is, of course, take on e6. But I didn't like this very much because I thought that he would take back with the bishop, and I'm helping him slightly develop the pieces. Now I have to get mine out. So I would probably put my bishop on e3, so play h3, prevent knight g4, also prevent knight g4 and knight e5 maybe, or even if I don't put my bishop on e3. Maybe something like knight c5, this looks logical. And this position seemed about equal, and it also seemed like it would be very easy for him to play. Like all his pieces are out, there's no problem here. I think it's quite clear for black.
So the capturing en passant would be more of a releasing move for black.
Yeah, I felt it wouldn't be... It would be easier, it would make black's life easier, yeah.
Gotcha.
Kind of releasing the pressure. So I decided to keep this center and play bishop f1, continue with my plan. And here we have the very typical King's Indian structure, where there's a pawn on e5, black has played this rupture, I have my pawn on d5, and everybody knows what they have to do. Black plays here, and they want to mate me,
right.
And then I have to get this. and get counterplay on the queen side.
Right.
So he played h6. We already know what this is for, knight h7, and push the pawns, right?
Yep, typical King's Indian defense stuff.
Yeah. So here I have to decide how I want to push b4. So, and I have two ways of doing that. The most obvious one is a3, and it's the first move that I considered. But here I didn't like this move very much. And here the threat is a4, so I will have to go b3. I don't want my pawns fixed on b2 and a3.
Okay.
But here I didn't like a4, because now he gets the square b3. And here when knight b3 comes, he attacks my rook. So he will have time for bishop d7. And my point is that I will never have time to get this pawn and then take on b3 and win material. So I thought, okay, if this doesn't work, and it doesn't work because my rook is on a1, let's change the move order. So let's start with rook b1 instead.
Okay.
And then play a3, which means that when knight b3 comes, I will be able to take on a4. So he goes bishop d7, I play a3, and now he goes for knight h7. Just play for f5. Here I play b4, get my counterplay, he has to take, and here f5. And I think this is the first critical moment of the game, because we both are kind of there. He's played f5 already, but it looks like c5 might not be possible here. But of course, everything has to be calculated. c5 should be the first move to calculate because it's the most direct one and it's your plan.
Right.
So I think this is the first moment where we can stop and talk about this position. If any of the viewers have any suggestions here and want to discuss this position, please do so.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. This is an interactive stream, so feel free. It's not just me, guys, I promise. But while they're probably still getting the questions here in the chat, let's go and talk about why you labeled f5 as a critical move, other than, okay, it's a normal King's Indian defense pawn break. What makes it so critical?
At the moment, I think this position is a critical moment where you have to do something with white. Not that f5 is a critical move, but what you play here with white will be something that defines the rest of the game. Okay. I think that's the critical moment, where you have to make a big decision that will impact the rest of the game.
Okay.
So here, if you just play something, I don't know, just wait, bishop d2, obviously f4 is coming, and then he will be first. Because g5 and g4.
Okay, so you're already anticipating the oncoming attack.
Yeah, so it's a critical moment because you have to make a big decision. Like it's a moment that you shouldn't miss.
Okay, so we're getting ready here as white. We know we're going to be attacked on the king side, so we have to ask: should we let it happen? And if we do, how do we let it happen? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what can we do on the other side? How can we continue? I have to say that the idea and the rest of the moves were very easy for me to find because I had been studying the structure for a while. I had been looking at the Petrosian system against the King's Indian, and this is very much like it. If you know it, you know what I mean. Because it's the b4 is pawn on d5. It's all typical. The knight ends up on a6 in the Petrosian. The only difference is that in the Petrosian line, you have a bishop on e3, which is obviously much better. Well, actually, the bishop is on f2, and the pawn is on f3. But that's much better because you have another piece attacking on c5. Here, my bishop is on c1, which is not that great, but still the ideas are there.
Okay, and how important is it to identify these types of themes or transpositions, I guess you could say?
I think that's one of the key things that help you as a player. That's why we study structures, because you might not have the same opening, but you will end up in a similar or in the same structure at some point. And you know what you have to do. That's important, that you don't have to find the moves right now. You know that that something might work. And here I knew that c5 will work.
Okay. Sorry that we didn't get much interaction yet in the chat, but obviously it will be on YouTube, so you guys go ahead and pause the videos whenever she's asking questions.
Yeah, I'm going to have much more interesting moments, I think, in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the point of c5? The idea is that d takes c5, I have an in-between move, bishop takes a6,
Mm-hmm.
and here I'm taking my pawn back. Yes, I have lost the bishop pair, but here the bishop pair is not that important. This is much stronger. And then my rook here on b7 is also
Sorry.
very strong.
I was doing some arrows and circles as well. I didn't realize I was doing on top of you.
Yeah, that was the pawn on e4 is also kind of impressive. And I also think I have ideas with pushing one of the pawns, the c pawn or the d pawn at some point. I'll have to choose which one carefully because I want to use the light squares at some point, and the bishop on g7 is not a great piece in the King's Indian.
Okay, so I guess it comes to opposite side castling. In a moment, right here. So you're attacking on the queen side, they're attacking on the king side.
Yeah.
Is it incorrect to react by capturing when your opponent is attacking on that side of the board, meaning you're accelerating their attack in a sense?
I don't know if I can make a rule of that, but here in this particular position, it would be wrong to take on f5. You mean here, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think here taking on f5 would be a mistake because you just open his pieces, and in the King's Indian, you just shouldn't let that bishop leave.
Mm-hmm.
This bishop on g7. So what you usually do is keep something on e4.
Okay.
And most of the times when you take on f5 is after they've pushed g5. So they take back with a piece, and then many times there's a knight that comes back to e4.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
And the bishop never leaves, the bishop on g7.
And the same can be said for when you play c5 and them taking same concept.
Exactly.
Opens up your pieces.
Same concept. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
When they take there, I'm going to have a knight, and if they push, which he did, obviously that's what he wants, then the bishop is still locked in.
Right.
On g7. Okay, and here again, I knew what I had to do. This is another important moment, so if you guys want to pause the video or suggest ideas, just feel free to do that. Here we have another good move.
Another good move here. Oh gosh, c6. Okay. Pawn
That's
sacrifice.
Nice. Pawn sacrifice, but is it really? Because bishop takes c5 doesn't work. So here takes, takes.
There's a pawn fork.
And then I have a b5 here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an idea that I have been seeing a lot in the games I was studying. I think there's a very good game of Hikaru in the Petrosian, if I remember correctly, where he uses this same attack, and of course Petrosian himself has many strong good games here.
Right. And Petrosian along with Alekhine are two very strong attacking players.
Yeah. But Petrosian, I don't know if he's such an attacker. No, I always had him more of a solid player. Okay. Although I did do a King's Hunt with Petrosian on recently.
Oh Lord.
But I think that he was the kind of player that when he went for the attack, it was because it's working. It's not just it was a sure thing.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
There was this saying, I think Potvinnik was the one who said that when Tal sacrifices a piece against you, take it. But if Petrosian sacrifices a piece against you, don't take it.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
He was calculating very well.
Mm-hmm.
He was a very, very good player there. Okay, so bishop takes c6 does not work.
Right.
That means we've gotten a pawn all the way to c6. Could black move the rook to b8 to stop the fork? Oh, you mean here. So here, b5. Mm-hmm. No, because my rook on b1 is defended. So here, if rook b8, I can still take one of the pieces. Which one do I want? I think the bishop, the knight, because I want a passed pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Let's go with this one. Yeah. So here, this does not pin the pawn. Yeah, that's a good point.
Good questions. Keep them up. Keep them going. That's what we want.
Yeah, of course. So no, he can never take that pawn. He has to move the bishop. So bishop e6. And now you just have to improve your pieces. Now, here we have to be careful because, yeah, we want to play b5 at some point, but we don't want to rush because b5 takes more space, but it also gives up squares. So here what we are doing with white is that we are playing against that knight on a6. This is a horrible piece for black. And it's one of the problems that they have in the King's Indian.
Mm-hmm.
So when I play b5, here the knight comes to life. He plays knight c5, and then, well, his pieces are getting better. I don't want that. So I want to push b5 at the right moment.
Okay.
Besides, there are so many ideas against this knight. This knight is almost trapped. So if I play rook a1, the knight is gone. If he didn't have knight b4, of course.
Right.
But the idea is that he can never go back because then the rook is hanging. So this is something that I'm going to play against as well.
Mm-hmm.
Knight d5 defends the pawn on b4, for example.
Right.
So now I am threatening rook a1,
mm-hmm.
and then b5, or just keep hitting the knight until it dies. I'm just joking, yeah, until I capture it. Probably not with b5, no? Because if let's say he plays g5,
mm-hmm.
here I can play rook a1, this was my idea. And if something like queen c8, because now I'm already threatening to take the knight, probably, oh no, queen c8, I have knight d7. Okay, that solves.
Yeah. Even after the game, she can still find more tactics. Always learning.
Yeah, I didn't have this line here, but I just wanted to show you that the knight is trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he plays here knight f6, and this move has a point. It kind of stops me from taking on d5. So let me just go back here. Rook a1. Here, g5, rook a1.
Mm-hmm.
So here the point is that my pawn on b4 is not hanging because if bishop takes, I will take with the queen, and that's check.
Correct.
So black doesn't have time to take on b4. But in this position, after he plays knight f6, I don't have rook a1 because now when he takes on d5, I have to take with the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
So now knight d4 is happening, and I've lost the pawn. I probably still have compensation because this knight is still out of play, but this is not what I want. I don't want to give up my pawns.
Right, and it's unnecessary to help black release their knight.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, that knight there is really bad. I can still attack it.
I've been seeing this a lot at, about 1,000, 1,500 level play. They think, oh, pawn push gains a tempo on the knight. Oh, it's gaining space to become a queen. But they forget the squares that they're leaving behind.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned before, because I think that's an important point.
Mm-hmm.
When you push your pawns, you have to look at the squares that it leaves behind.
Okay.
So, yeah, here I also have this idea, bishop takes a6,
mm-hmm.
because you also see that this pawn might advance, so you have to look at it. Doesn't make sense because the knight is out of play, but if it works, it works. But
right.
It doesn't look like it. Something like this, and I'm not achieving anything. Really, b6, he
mm-hmm.
just takes it with the pawn. I'm not going to promote yet.
Right. It's interesting, but...
But no, the knight is the piece that I'm playing against.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't just remove his problem here.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the way you have to think about it sometimes, no?
Mm-hmm.
What is black's problem? That knight. So here I play bishop c4, and I'm preparing to play queen d3, I think, here, and keep attacking the knight.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted to have this knight protected because I don't want to take with the pawn on d5.
Okay.
I never want this. I want to be able to recapture with a piece and keep this bishop shut here and keep my pieces open.
Mm-hmm. Take pawn with horse, then push pawn? I'm not exactly sure which position. We went through two variations here. I'm sorry.
In the previous one with bishop a6, b5, I think. Oh, here, on c7. I understand what he means. Here.
Mm-hmm.
b5. Oh, and here after rook a7, take on c7. I don't think so, because knight c7, he can take with the rook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if queen takes, there is a fork. And here, if b6, I think he takes on c6.
I don't think that pawn's gonna get down there in time either.
I don't think so, no, because queen b8 is coming. If b7, just... or queen c7, just queen b8 or queen c7. Yeah, to have maybe rook b8 next.
Mm-hmm. Very good try, though. That was a nice attempt.
Yeah, I think I looked at this in the game, but I forgot. It was a long time ago.
But it's good that you look for ideas like that, because otherwise you're limiting yourself to tactics.
Yeah, you have to see these ideas. All these tactical possibilities. Okay, so let me show you. Sorry.
I'm sorry. So a classical game, obviously, it's a more difficult position for black than for white. What was the time situation like here? Was your opponent spending more time?
I don't remember, but I think I didn't. I don't think I had spent too much time because I knew already all these ideas, and I knew, for example, I didn't have to find the move c6 because I had seen it before and I saw it works in my position as well.
Okay.
I knew the idea was c5 because of bishop a6, and that position I had analyzed it before and I knew it was great for white.
Okay.
I had studied it before. I just had to find a few moves here, like pay attention to the pawn hanging on b4. Here find bishop c4 and keep my knight protected, but I don't think this is a very difficult move to find. It's quite logical. You don't want to get the pawn on d5 in these positions.
Okay.
You want your queen there maybe, or the knight. I want to keep my knight if possible, but he won't allow me.
Right.
So here he takes on d5. Now bishop takes d5. Okay, here if you ask our friend the engine, it will tell you that e takes d5 is also fine, but for a human this doesn't come that natural. I was not even considering taking back with the pawn.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That looks annoying.
Yeah, the bishop goes to f5 and maybe then he gets e4. Why would I want to allow that?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like I give counterplay for no reason. So here I take with the bishop. This was always my idea. Now he plays queen f6. And I have to say I'm really proud of my next move. So we can pause for a second if you guys want to give it a try. I think there are many good moves here already. You don't have only one move.
Mm-hmm. So what is this idea centered around? What to kind of help guide some of the viewers?
The knight on a6.
Okay.
And some things that you kind of always have to ask yourself during a game. I don't think I actually did it consciously during the game, but if you train yourself to look for them, they come natural afterwards. No? So look for your pieces that are not participating. How can you improve your pieces? Who's not playing? What's your worst placed piece? And all these questions, they will help you find good moves then in the games.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually pretty stumped here. I would have to take some time. Obviously, pause the
so
videos.
who's not participating in the attack?
Okay, queen's defending bishop. Rook's helping defend the pawn.
Yep.
Knight is watching over the center.
Yeah, we need that there. We need someone to protect the king. No?
Very natural move like queen b3 looks okay, but...
Yeah, that should be fine. Queen b3 should be fine. That's why I'm saying that here there are so many good moves.
Okay. But there's like one particular move... Oh, wait. Nah, that doesn't work. Never mind.
So for me here, the piece that's not really helping on the queen side or king side is the rook on e1. What's the rook doing on e1,
rook e2,
right?
rook e2.
I'm very proud of this move. It's very nice, no?
Just like
I'm
a little quiet
really
move.
Proud of this maneuver. It's the kind of maneuver you always want to play, but usually play it the other way around. You go rook a3 to go to h3. Here I go to,
Yep.
to the a file. Yeah, so here I play rook e2. The idea is to go rook a2, and I want to have my pawn defended.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to attack the knight. And then queen d3. I saw the idea of queen d3 in the chat, but I need the rook on a2 to help with the attack on the knight.
Mm-hmm.
So now he goes rook b8, attack b4, and now I have to defend. Bishop a3, he plays g5, and now I play queen d3. Oh, but here I had a very strong move. Queen d3 is good, and it was part of my plan all the time. But here I just have an amazing move. I didn't even think that I could have this move. It's a very, very nice tactic.
Ooh, okay.
Do you think you can get it?
Well, I see this, so there has to be something
That's the
here.
logical thing. No, that's where you're looking. And that's what I was trying to play for. b5 and knight
it's
c5.
knight takes, isn't it?
That's why the bishop on knight e5.
But wait, no, they can... Oh, wait. I don't know. I have to calculate. Oh wait, dun dun dun. And the queen can't defend the bishop, which queen's trapped. No.
Queen's trapped.
Oh.
Yes.
Ew.
I didn't even imagine that this was possible here. Knight e5 is just an amazing move. So let's show the point. Queen e5, bishop b2 just traps the queen. Amazing, no?
That is really nice.
And the whole idea starts from seeing b5 and seeing that the knight can only go to c5. So you just want to remove the pawn from here, all the arrows that you were drawing, and that's how knight e5 comes, because when pawn takes, you want to play b5.
The knight's still trapped.
And you just got the knight, yeah.
And with insurance, too. You get the exchange.
Well, yeah,
oh my goodness, this is bad.
Exchange, fast pawn.
Yeah.
You get it, everything. Yeah, so this knight e5 was an amazing tactic that I did not see. I just was very focused on my idea with b5, queen d3. This looks natural. It's winning, of course, queen d3, but I think knight e5 is just direct.
Okay.
So now he goes g4. I go back, pawn here, and rook b2. And now I think my rook is always very well placed on the second rank because it always defends f2, so there's nothing against my king. My knight guards f3, g2. So yeah, he can take on g2, but I'm not going to take that pawn back. I just want this pawn to protect my king, hide behind it, and I'm just going to get the knight.
The opponent cannot take their own pieces.
No.
Makes it a lot easier. No, that's really cool.
Sometimes
I'm surprised at how strong that rook is on b2. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't see a way in.
I wasn't thinking about that during the game, but then after, when you see the full game, the rook on b2 is just great. It defends the whole second rank. Yeah, so here this knight is hanging, and he can defend it only with rook b6. That did not happen in the game, but here I was going to go b5. And here I'm winning a pawn, knight c5. I take on c5, and I have queen c4. Double attack.
Right.
I attack here and attack here, and the point is that I take with check. Queen d5 and still get my pawn. This is the pawn that I was planning to take, though here queen d7 seems to be strong as well. Because maybe you want to get the pawn that's attacking you on g4.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe you want to remove some pawns there. But I was thinking about taking the pawn on c5, which is also strong.
And a pawn's enough to win.
Yeah, and here the pawns should advance because I'm going to play for d7. No, I'm going to go back to d1, probably rook d7, and then take c7 if I can. But here he takes on d5. I was actually expecting this move, but I thought here I take back and this knight will be trapped. I play b5. But here when he takes on d5, he offers a draw. And this is a moment that I wanted to discuss, because many times strong opponents offer you a draw, but most of the times they will offer you a draw when they're worse. They don't offer it out of the opening.
Right.
Some do, but most of them won't do that. And I had taken many draws in position where I was better, maybe not completely winning, because here I was feeling that I was completely winning. But positions where I knew I was better, because you start doubting. You say, oh, but he's a grandmaster. He's like 200-300 points above me. I'm going to make a mistake. What if I don't win this? You know what? I realize it doesn't matter if you don't win this. You just have to play the game, and if you make a mistake, then you learn from it. And you know what you have to work on. But if you just make the draw, yeah, you've won a few points, a few rating points, but they don't matter, because next round you might be paired against someone with lower rating, and then you might make a draw, or you might lose, and they're gone.
Yep. Exactly, Mark. Always fight on.
So the rating points don't matter. When you have a good position and you are sure that you have a better position, don't take the draws. Just play on.
Yeah, I've been down that road. Actually, I was the one in the... Actually, what happened, I was playing a 2240 something, roughly. And I knew I had a better endgame position, rook and pawn. And I was the one who offered the draw. He took it like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I missed something, didn't I?
Yeah.
I do have an issue here. My battery is exhausted. That's unfortunate.
Oh.
Let me go ahead and switch on over to a different camera, guys. One moment. Always
Okay,
have backups.
just wait to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have taken many draws, and I actually didn't come back in my room with a good feeling. I felt like, oh, I made a draw, but it's not like, wow, yay, I made a draw. It was, I made a draw.
You always have
It
to.
was kind of disappointing because I knew I was better. And then when you go home and you see like the computer completely crashes you, it gives you a plus something, +1, +2, it's just, what did I do?
Do you even know chess? No.
Yeah, something like that. So I decided not to take any more draws when I'm better. I haven't won all the games where I was better. I've made draws, I've lost some of them, but I felt much better even if I lost the game. I knew I kept fighting for my chance. So here I took on d5. I don't know if there are people who do this for psychological reasons because you might, you mess with your opponent's mind. You offer a draw when you know you are losing. That can be a strategy as well. So I don't know. I've never done it, but could be. Maybe. But don't do it.
Because it can make you overthink, I guess.
I think so. Yeah, it kind of makes you waste time, think about, oh, should I take the draw? Should I keep playing? That can also be it. Yeah. I don't advise you to do it. I think you should play fair.
Yes.
So now he goes king h8, and here my idea was to play b5, and I had seen that here I'm winning the pawn, so I was just queen takes c5. And yes, now it's about how you're going to win this. He plays rook to d8, and here everything I wanted to play was b6. Yeah, because you see b6, and then you see c7.
Yep.
And you see c8, and you see that you get another queen, and you've won the game. So, but it's not that easy because on b6, well, it's very simple. If he takes, then you play c7, and here there's not much to see. He takes on c5, and you just have to see that you take on b8 with the rook, and then you get another queen.
That was dirty.
Whatever he does.
Geez.
Yeah, just get the queen.
Yep.
I don't want 2 rooks for the queen. No. So this is simple, but then I realized, before playing b6, of course, but he has this move, bishop f8. And if I move my queen away, maybe then he can take on b6, I was thinking. And maybe take with the rook on b6. So here again, everything I wanted to do is just keep taking.
Okay.
This looks really nice, but it still has to be calculated.
Right.
Okay, if he takes on c5, it's simple because I think we've seen this before. No, actually here I have to take with my pawn. Do I? No, I can take with the rook. I was looking at f2, but
Right. Looks
like bishop f2, king takes. I don't think anything happens there, but okay, for safety, let's just take with the pawn because we have another pawn. And when he takes, this comes with check, so there's no time for anything. I'm going to push c7.
Yeah.
So this is simple, but then what happens if he takes on b2? Okay, I take on d8. He takes on d8. And now we have to see what we do, because c7 is the first thing that comes to mind. But c7 is a mistake. And c7 actually loses the game. And thank God I realized this, because it's kind of the move that I want to play. I'm going to play c7 and I'm going to win this.
Okay. Gosh, I don't see how it loses. I mean, I
It
see
loses.
potential
It's
back
not.
rank mate, but
No. It's not equalizing. This directly loses. You have no.
just
take on b1 and
Because there's no
you're
check.
getting mated.
Yeah.
You have no checks because the bishop's on f8. Yeah.
right. Okay.
So here rook b1 loses. So never lose focus especially in the winning positions.
The opponent is
You know,
fighting and trying to create tricks.
They are fighting, yes. And I think the mindset for the positions that you are winning is that the game starts here and I have to play this position. You have to forget about the rest. Just play a normal game, forget about your feelings, and try to find the best move as always.
Okay.
So here I take on e5. This is the right move. And now I play c7 because now c takes d8 comes with check. So there's no time for rook b1 and mating me.
That is
I'm
one
actually mating.
sharp tactic. Nice. Very nice.
And here he's already lost. I was expecting queen c8 here, to be honest. When I take on b2, this was my plan, and then I always trap the queen on rook b8. And we get to this endgame where I should be winning because here I'm 2 pawns up. It's still some work, but should be winning, with good play.
Right.
But he plays queen g8. I think he was already giving up on this, and here I can take on b2 with the queen, because then rook b8 is happening.
Right.
Whatever he plays, I play rook b8, and it's over. So here he resigned.
Wow, that was... It just came out of nowhere, too. You just mentioned Petrosian idea. You played it, and then you never let go of that initiative.
I'm very proud of this game, because many games have gone wrong from good positions, but this was actually a good game, I kept my focus and didn't get distracted.
So it wasn't like your opponent made any mistakes either. It was just kind of you just outplayed him from a strategical.
Yeah, you could say that, I think. Yeah, that's true. He didn't make any big mistakes, no. That's true. Maybe I think in the opening the move order was maybe not the most precise, because I think when he plays a5, where is that moment? Around here, I don't think he needs a5, and I think what they do in this position is actually play knight d7 right away, because when knight c5 comes, it kind of comes with tempo, so you don't need a5 right away. Knight c5 here, and now on rook e1 you also have the option of taking on d3, which I think is what they do in these positions. If black plays a5, then we transpose bishop to f1 was my idea.
Right,
but no, there was no big blunder or big mistake from black's side.
Congratulations on that win. That's a one
Thank
heck
you.
of a win.
It felt good.
I bet. That was a nice one. And
yeah,
I like that you brought up the point of like the fact that you're a stronger rated opponent offer the draw goes with our podcast of psychology of competition. Yes, it can affect you big time.
It can, yeah.
It take too long, and the part where I know someone told me one time that you can feel comfortable knowing that the draw stands on your turn. You can sit as long as you like. Obviously, not too long, but
yeah, I haven't thought about that, but that you have a point, yeah. You have it there. If you offer the draw, they probably would still take it, no?
Yep. So
even later on.
Unfortunately, the opponent was not able to swindle you, but what do we have in this next game here?
Yeah, talking about never giving up, I wanted to show you some positions where things have not gone well for me.
Okay.
But I kept trying, or just keep looking for opportunities. So I wanted to take the game from this point, because this is where I made what I think is the mistake in the game. This was a Maroczy that it's maybe not, hasn't gone well. Maybe it's not the right word to describe this. Could say that I forgot my preparation. That's that's probably better. And I ended up in this position that I hadn't played before, because what you normally play in the Maroczy is with the bishop on e2, not bishop on d3.
Okay.
Now with the bishop on d3, white has extra ideas of dropping the bishop to c2 and maybe pushing b3, and the pawn on b3 is always protected. Or maybe bishop here and a3 and so on. So this is slightly different, and I was a bit confused in this position. Here what you have to do with black is just keep calm. These are positions where you have less space, but you shouldn't go crazy or block the position. Something like e6, for example, is something you could play here.
Okay.
If knight b5, you just take the knight. This is slightly better for white because, well, it's white and, well, it's the Maroczy. White has more space, but it doesn't mean that this position is much worse or losing. Nothing like that.
Okay.
Just have to keep calm and keep playing. Oh, and this is another good point. When you maybe are in a worse position or slightly worse, what you should try to do is keep your cool, keep your calm. Don't create any additional weaknesses. Don't give your opponent something to do. Don't
lash out.
don't lash out. And I was just going to say that don't do things that will take away your counterplay, because this is what I did here.
Oh no.
I played a3.
Okay.
And I think this is a horrible move. It is part of the plan sometimes, but here it's a horrible move because it closes the queen side. So white plays b3, and I think here I have no counterplay anymore. Besides, I give white the idea of pushing b4 for free. And he will have that at some point. And what rupture do I have here? I'm out of ruptures. This is a big problem. With the pawn on a4, at least I'm keeping ideas with queen b4, maybe b5, and then hit on b2. But here, even if I get to play b5, I'm not going to have a weakness to attack.
Okay.
And I'm probably not going to get b5. There's just so many pieces looking at b5.
That's a very hard concept for me. Maybe as well for others in the chat at the moment. I understand it locks down the position, but I'm not understanding how it's preventing counterplay. That's a hard one for me.
But how are you going to open this? Because I'm going to show you what white did here. White can improve their position.
Okay.
They can shuffle their pieces around, but I don't really have any useful things to do.
Okay. I guess I'll have to see it to understand. That's a hard one.
My only ruptures here are b5 and d5.
Okay.
And I'm not able to get either. b5 is well controlled. d5 will be well controlled, even if I play e6. Well, maybe if I played e6 here, I would still have, let's say, but it's just so difficult because if I play rook d8, then this knight is pinned. So
okay.
I'm not going to be able to help push d5.
Okay,
but maybe I can. Maybe I can play e6 and control d5, but I don't have c5 as a square anymore. With my pawn on a4, I have the square c5. My knight can end up on c5 at some point, or my queen can end up there. The knight is the one that usually goes there. But with my pawn on a3, I don't even have this nice outpost that I used to have on c5 for the knight. So here I play knight d7 because I was so stubborn. I wanted my knight on c5 anyway. It's just, I don't know what to do otherwise. What else can I do? There's this plan of putting the knight on c5. There's a hole on d4 that I'm trying to play for. Maybe now that white has the pieces differently than in the normal Maroxys. No rook on d1, no queen on d2. So I play knight d7 because now the knight is hanging on c3. So there's no bishop e7 here. But he goes bishop e1, and he's actually starting to put his pieces, bishop on d2, the rook will come to g3, rook f3. That's why he plays bishop e1. He doesn't want the bishop in the way of the rook.
Right.
And he wants to eventually push f5, because that's how he will open this.
Okay.
So here I have to play queen d8. Yeah, I do know why I play queen d8, because the bishop's on e1 and he's threatening knight d5 or a knight jump anyway. And I don't want queen c7 because on queen c7 knight d5 comes, and that's with tempo. I will still have to move my queen. So I just went back to d8. Okay. Very sad, but... And now knight c5.
But you're still being patient.
I'm patient, yes, but I should have been patient with the pawn on a4.
Okay, got you.
It was much better. You see, like, for example, here my pawn's on a4, I don't have to worry about b4. But now b4 is a threat.
Okay, now I'm starting to see it.
So I'm giving him so many options. Now, for example, he plays bishop b1 because he wants to. And he wants to keep this bishop, but he could play b4 if he wanted to. The light square bishop is usually the bad bishop here, but in this structure. But he wants to keep it because my guess is that if he wants to play f5, he thought that he would need the bishop, yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So what do I do next? There's not much to do. I play b6. Let's be solid here.
Yep.
I went to e6 because knight d4. What if I trick you? No, I'm joking. I wasn't expecting him to allow me to win an exchange, but at least that's a square for my knight. Queen f2. Now I play e6 because f5 is coming, so I want to have it somewhat controlled. Rook d1. Now I maybe get my queen out. And now I play e5. But still, this is a horrible position. here he. Sorry, yeah.
I was just gonna make a small note that I noticed that both games have a common theme with pawn structure.
Oh.
The first one was using your pawns to control squares from the knight. Now this time, making the wrong pawn structural change, giving your opponent everything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Hmm.
the structure is very important.
So, would
Time.
you maybe classify patient play as not pushing your pawns around, forcing matters?
Um, could be as well, yeah.
Okay.
But this is something that many people do, and I sometimes I probably even do it as well.
Okay.
That when you are worse and you don't have much space, you look for activity.
Okay.
And for everybody, activity means pawn ruptures. You want to open the position, you look for pawn breaks. But usually that's why you lose, because you did that.
Okay.
If you just wait patiently and don't create weaknesses or just don't give your opponent something to do, they might not be able to break through.
Okay. So you're
But this is
changing it
very
to
difficult.
prove your advantage as opposed
Yeah,
to okay. I'm gonna help you show your advantage. Gotcha.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Okay.
that's something like that. It's very difficult for everybody, I think,
Hmm.
because it's just not natural to not do anything. You want to play something.
Yeah.
You need some space. It's not natural to live without space, but
Hmm.
you have to learn to control this impulse.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to go faster through the game
Sure.
because here I play g5. Oh, I play rook b8 because I wanted b5.
Hmm.
But he's like, this was a very annoying game. I wanted to show you the game starting from a3 because this was a lot of suffering.
Oh
And it was a long game. I think, let me just check how many moves. I was the last one to finish.
God.
71 moves. And this was move 20 when I played a3. No, 16. So, so it was a game of suffering. Um, so I play rook c8 here. So just try to hold on. Don't make any immediate blunders.
Right.
Now I play bishop f8, for example. What to do? No, it's bishop g7. I have to wait. And here, honestly, I was expecting rook g5. And because my queen is trapped,
Ooh. Okay. I
I
didn't
have
see
to
that.
play
That
this.
hurts.
No, this is just losing, no?
Hmm.
But you know, it's this sometimes these small things. Your opponent doesn't play rook g5, and suddenly you feel some hope.
Right. Did you see?
uh,
Did you happen to see that in the game?
yeah, I was expecting rook g5 here.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
When you are worse and you look for your opponent's tactics, you always see them. Doesn't
Hmm.
it happen to you?
Oh. Always.
I feel like I always see my opponent's tactics. It's mine that I have problems with.
You know, you are absolutely right though. When you see it and you found that they missed it, it gives you that
Yeah,
confidence that you have a chance to fight back. That is
yeah,
very
yeah,
true.
exactly. It's like I was this feeling, and I was, oh, he didn't play rook g5. Okay, now you're not going to play rook g5
Hmm.
anymore. It's a rook, queen's on e1, so now I'm going to get out of there. Okay, so here I played here. Now I get my queen out of e7. Knight e2. I play bishop f6. Now I want to have g5 protected. No, I knew what
Hmm.
could have happened to me. And now he plays queen b4, and here I play b5 because I thought that I saw that it would lose material, but at least I saw that it would take me to an endgame.
Hmm.
And I have an option between giving up the pawn and going for the endgame, or keep playing these positions with all the pieces, no activity. And well, he's obviously playing well on both flanks,
Hmm.
so that's very annoying. Now he wants to take on b6, and then maybe rook h3 will happen again, and he will start over. Like,
Right.
he has so many things to do here. So I decided to go b5. He takes, and I have rook b8 idea. You'll see it now, which
Hmm.
pins the bishop, and I'm getting it back. So it will be just a few pawns that I'm losing, but so he plays here. Now I should have gone for rook c5 directly. I went queen e5. And now I play rook c5 because d6 was hanging, so I didn't take.
Yeah. Wow, this is such a patient game. Jeez.
It was a horrible game.
like
It
like
was.
even the move b5, I know it creates a break, but it still feels like you're still squeezed and you have to hold on.
Yes, no, that's exactly what I have to
Oh
do
my
here.
lord.
Now he takes another pawn. But look, I have an opposite color bishop endgame. There are some rooks as well, but hope.
Yep.
What we are talking about. I got hope. Maybe I get to trade the rooks.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I get to do something. Now I played f6 to fix that pawn and bring the king. No, I think this is easily losing because he will play a4 and at some point the king will just get through.
Mm-hmm. So
And that's a clear plan.
might be getting to him too, knowing that he's winning and just can't. Maybe he knew he was winning earlier and just couldn't find the breakthrough. And again, he still can't find the breakthrough.
No, he got the winning position. He just blundered at some point.
Oh, okay.
King e5. He plays here. I like that he's also playing this patiently. No, this is an important thing to do. Don't just try to win it right away. It's rook e2 because why not keep h2 protected? And he's playing on light squares. He's got a light square bishop and he plays on light squares.
Mm-hmm.
So here h5. Now he plays h4 because he wanted to fix another weakness here on h5. I think this is also a good idea. Oh, now he has extra threats of bishop f7. So I have to defend against that. Mm-hmm. And now my rook is stuck on the 7th rank. So my rook will have to do too many things. Mm-hmm. Protect f7. I will have to protect b5 for when the king gets in. I won't be able to do that, and I also have to stop the pawn. So obviously, it's too many things.
Right.
So I just wait here. I wait again. And now he starts bringing the king in. He played here. Now he plays here. And I play king e7 just hoping to get my rook out of a7. Mm-hmm. But now this allows him rook takes d4. And this again is a very strong move. He removes this, I think, maybe not necessary, but it should be easily winning. King d3. Here. Yeah, exactly. And the pawn just advances here. a5. Play here, a6. Now I play rook a1. And I think my opponent, I don't know what happened, really. Because he took a long thinking here. I was just, okay, just bishop b7 and I'm going to resign. But I don't know what happened. If it was just he got blinded or maybe he relaxed thinking that he's winning and he was just... It happens that you sometimes see so many wins that you get lost between moves and you don't know exactly what's happening on the board. You forget that your opponent also has threats. So here, what a miracle happened. No, really, that was just a miracle. When he took on d4, I thought, wow, I got my pawn. But still I realized, but hold on, is this a draw? Mm-hmm. It's not easy to make a draw still. He still has the b pawn and he could get another passed pawn somewhere in the center. F pawn probably. Mm-hmm. And I still have the pawn on h5, so I shouldn't relax here.
Right.
So, there's that feeling that you already saved the game. You get nervous, but you have to get yourself together and get the game going and find the right way to go. Okay. So here he plays a e5, and I think I played well here. Rook a1 to start checking from behind and keep an eye on the pawns. Mm-hmm. Here I take. For example, here I played rook b1, but if I give a check, rook e1, I'm already going towards the wrong path. Right. Bishop e4, and I don't have rook b1 anymore. So, okay, let's find another way to make the draw here. Mm-hmm. So I think rook b1. And here I'm lucky to have... Okay, now I'm winning the pawn. Bishop e4. And the point is that he will never be able to pass. I'm always... Now I'm just keeping my rook on the 5th rank. Mm-hmm. And here we made a draw. But he can never really pass, even if he puts a bishop on f5 here, like rook c5. Okay, here I have king f7, but just for the sake of it, he will never take on h5 because the bishop is hanging. Right. So he's never actually going through.
I mean, I cannot even imagine how difficult that was for you.
I was the last one.
Oh man.
And I was, especially since it was such a difficult game, it was the last round also. Last round, last game. Terrible game, but it ended up with a good feeling. And I had a good tournament before this game. So I was a bit disappointed with this one. Not anymore when it finished.
Right, the fact that you saved it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have played a factor too on your opponent, fatigue. So,
Maybe, yeah. Of course, yeah, it happens in fatigue. Yeah. I don't remember the time control, but we were playing in France. This was a tournament in Avon, I think, a small town. And I don't remember the time control, but I think it was 90 minutes plus 30 minutes plus 30 minutes.
Jeez.
So it was a really long time control. Might have been like that. Or plus 15 minutes.
And you had to suffer in that position throughout that. Oh,
yes.
that's insane.
I don't. These are the games that you don't forget, I think.
Especially when you save them.
Especially when you save them, yeah. What does that mean? That means that you get 90 minutes for 40 moves, then you get another half an hour to make another 20 moves. And if you make another 20 moves, another 30 moves, then you get an extra 15 minutes or half an hour, depending on how they have the time control.
Yeah, the FIDE is a bit different from US chess, so they have very long games, so you better be prepared for very long weekends.
But this tournament that I mentioned before, Benasque, they don't have 30 extra minutes after move 40. They only have 90 plus 30.
Okay.
So they give you 90 minutes and 30 seconds per move for the whole game. Yeah, you have to bring snacks. I always bring snacks to the game. It's not a joke. I bring my chocolate and my water. Do we have time to show the last one?
Yeah, I mean this is all you, so if you want to keep going, go for it.
Okay, so this is a more recent game played in Italy in 2019, December. And again, it happened in the opening because here I thought I was being smart and I play knight f to d7. This is a position, I think, from the Queen's Gambit accepted that I got here. And here I wanted to play for the square e5. It's typical that you want to put a knight on e5. So I thought I was being smart with the move knight d7 because I wanted to get my knight on c6, and then I would have two pieces to play for e5. But just knight d7 is just a bad move because here, look at my pieces, and this is something you should always do. Your pieces are not out. How can you play knight f to d7 here? It's unbelievable. You have to get the other knight out to d7, finish development, and then you can think about attacking the center. I think what I was worried about here was f4, but e5 is simple. If he takes, I take back with the knight, and I have a good outpost for my knight here, and the pawn on e4 is weak. There's nothing to worry in this position. Oh, and here knight d5 doesn't work. Yeah, I think this was a move that was concerning me, but it just doesn't work because I have if when bishop d4, bishop d5, I have bishop g4 in the end.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, I think this is what I missed. I missed bishop g4. But yeah, knight b d7 was what I should have played. But I play knight d7 and everything goes wrong.
Wow.
From
okay,
here.
So I mean, this is really showing class of how strong you are. Had you in this position calculated the move bishop to g4, you would have played knight g d7.
Yeah, probably knight b to d7.
I'm sorry, knight b d7.
I remember that I was worried about f4, but I saw e5 because it's obvious. It's what you want to play. But if I remember right, this is what had me worried, knight d5. Because here, if I have to take and then I have to move my rook, I'm still in this position. I'm still kind of I think right. Yeah, this is it. Before I remember.
Okay, that's probably the one you calculated.
Yeah, this is what I was seeing, that I have problems with my queen.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember now. So I just didn't see that I have bishop g4. It's yeah. Have to look for all the tactical possibilities.
Yes.
But it's also kind of principle. No, here I was just calculating. But if you look at this position, what's the principal move to do, to play?
Develop
Knight
queen
d7, no?
Yeah.
Knight b to d7, of course. Okay, so I went here. Let me just show you what happened. Now he plays a4. I think he reacted very well here. I pushed b4, and now he plays a5. And I have problems with my pieces. They are all on the wrong squares. Queen c7, and now he plays knight a4. And my pieces are not coming out, because if I play knight c6 here, what happens is that I'm going to lose this bishop. So here, rook c1, and the knight is lost.
Oh, okay.
There's just too many problems.
Yeah.
So I play bishop e7. What else to do? And here I saw knight b6. I was expecting this idea. Takes, here queen e5, because if I take, he takes on e6. I'm losing again material, so I was trying to at least hold on to the material as long as possible. And in this position, again, I was expecting a move that wins material, which is the very pretty knight b5. Because this one's hanging. And because knight c7 can never be stopped.
Okay. Took me a sec.
This is what I was expecting. So maybe take here, but knight c7, and I'm already losing material without compensation. But he plays bishop c2. And what we were discussing before, hope. I said, oh, I got my bishop out. That's already a win in this position.
Right.
And he plays f4. Okay, a win is too much, but because the king side is coming. Now he plays rook a5, which is a very fancy move, but I think it's not necessary. I think e5 is just winning. And simply f5, because this, no, the knight on d4. Because this is also very badly placed here on h4. Almost trapped. But okay, rook a5, also including all the pieces the rook was not playing, makes a lot of sense. Here I played rook c8 to get my knight out. For some reason, I think knight c6. Why didn't I like knight c6? Maybe because of e5. And I don't recall why knight c6. Maybe because of ideas with bishop d4. I'm not sure what happened. But I played rook c8 here. Rook h5, and here g6. At least here I was happy I was not going to lose my queen.
Right.
I have a very ugly square, but it's a square. Rook h3, and here I do play knight c6, and this loses material, but I already have to do it. It's just shouldn't wait any longer with that knight on b8.
Right.
Knight d7 also loses material, because I think knight e6 is what happens on knight e7. Knight e6 or knight f5. Yeah, knight f5. Knight f5 is better, probably. Because rook d7, again, double attack here.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
But the same happens to knight c6. Bishop takes, and now he has b7. And here, okay, I have to try to find some ideas for counterplay, and the only counterplay I could see was against a rook on e7 that could be a bit trapped, slightly. So here I play queen f8, and I was actually very happy to see this move on the board, bishop c5, because now I suddenly realized that with the bishop on c5, I have some tactical ideas. The bishop's hanging, maybe the rook is hanging, maybe the bishop on c2, maybe ideas with rook c1 at some point. It's all there, some ideas. So I play bishop b5. I know he has queen f2, that he defends this. But again, this is what I was hoping for, because here I get counterplay against the other bishop on c2.
Oh my gosh. That was incredible.
I take on c2 here. Counterplay. But now he takes on h7. Counterplay. Everybody gets counterplay here.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So if I take, he wants to play rook takes f7, and I'm losing my queen. And here I didn't find the best move, but well, if you're watching this, if you're not watching this live, you can pause because here there is a way to make a draw, and it's not obvious at all. It's very elegant though. We have this move. We want queen d1, and it seems that white doesn't have time to actually mate me with both rooks on the 7th rank.
That's annoying.
He has to.
That's really annoying.
Yeah. And this is the point. This is beautiful.
Oh my god.
This would have been a beautiful way to make a draw. And here he has to take the draw for a few reasons. Here, for example, king h4 loses because I have g5. And then I'm taking here with the queen and defending everything. So he has to play king g4, and here comes another check. I go back and queen f1. And he can never go to h2 because then I start picking up pawns. And probably more than pawns. Maybe here I'm just mating king h1, bishop c6. So it has to be a draw. But this queen d8 I think is an amazing move to find. And then the idea of rook g2, of course.
But you won this game, so...
I did win this game.
I guess the move you played was more practical in that sense.
No, I think I just held on to whatever ideas of counterplay I had.
Okay.
So here I play rook c2. I saw that I would lose the king here on g3, but couldn't find anything better. And here I was low on time. I remember that I had under 5 minutes probably. So I played bishop e8. He plays rook h4. Now I come back here. And here he takes on f7. And I'm losing material. I thought, okay, maybe with the rook and the bishop, I have some hopes, especially since I locked the king on h3. This is everything that I was hoping for. Here I looked at bishop e4, and I was hoping to get something with this bishop on f5, and at least a draw with some rook g4, and then maybe rook g1 back. Some kind of perpetual. So he plays check here. Takes another pawn, does not care because I don't have any checks here. I play bishop d5. Gives another check. I go here, and now he plays queen c1. And I thought that he's threatening f5, but apparently f5 is not such a big threat. And here again, I have an idea. I have a chance, which is rook f2. I'm just going to show it to you because it's all very beautiful and not obvious at all.
Oh my
the
goodness.
point is that
okay.
I'm going to play g5. And here I will make a draw again. King g2, I'm winning the queen, so he should be careful not to step into that. So he has to go here, and this would be a draw. And I go back to f3, perpetual. So f5 doesn't really work. And if he plays something like this, then I can go back.
You know, there's something very different about someone sharing their games, and you can hear the connotations in their voice as to how they felt, as opposed to just, pulling up game. Like, there's so much drama in this entire game.
Yeah, there is a lot of drama, of course. Chess is dramatic, I think.
Very much. That's why these interviews are excellent, because I let you guys just take it away and explain the entire game, because I think that's the best way to get the most out of it.
And I think you should always take your games and analyze them. This is a good way to improve. Just look at your games and see, but be fair with what you see. Don't just turn on the engine and see what the engine did and say, oh, but this was obvious. It's obvious because the engine tells you so, but if you try to think about it, it won't be that obvious.
Right. So
the way I do it is take my games and before turning on the engine, put the lines that I calculated, and then I turn the engine to see where I went wrong in my calculation.
Okay.
The thing is that I don't always annotate what I calculated, so that's why sometimes I forget what the idea was and what the engine part is.
Right, and it's illegal in FIDE, I believe, to write anything other than your moves. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't even say, oh, maybe this move.
No, 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 no. I just do it from memory when I come back to my room and open my computer,
Hmm.
put the game, and along with the game I add the lines. Sometimes I don't even turn on the engine. I just want to get over it, so I can forget about the lines.
Yeah. Especially this one. I mean, this is tough. The
Okay,
fact
so
that you
here I
got so
sorry.
much play is amazing. Wow.
So here I play king to g7. I was still hoping to get my bishop on f5 to be fair here, but I was waiting for a way to do that. Now he plays here and I play bishop e4. Okay, now he forces me to go to d5, but actually here with bishop d5, I'm inviting him because I saw that the pawn's endgame might be losing. So I'm kind of inviting him to take on d5. Because if I take, he takes here, and here I'm losing. It's a pawn up for
Hmm.
him, and it's over. But I was hoping that he would take, and then I would have this move. In between move, and I'm just in time to defend everything.
Yay.
King e6. And here king c6, and so it's a draw.
Hmm.
He needs to wait, I need to wait, and we can sign the draw. But he didn't, so this was such a big disappointment. It was a trap that I had been working on for a while.
Hmm.
I had seen it for a while, and I was hoping to get his queen to c4 and somehow attack it, and maybe then he takes it. But he took this pawn. So I thought, okay, I have one last try, and that is to push g5, get my king in, and then maybe again draw somehow
Hmm.
with the rook on g1, maybe bishop g2, something there.
I mean,
So he takes.
it's also getting pretty close to mate. Oh,
Yeah,
never mind. The pawn's gone.
the pawn's gone, and now my rook is not on g2 anymore, so bishop g2 becomes an idea.
Hmm.
He plays queen d6, and here, slowly, I push my king to g6. Like you didn't even see what I played.
Hmm.
And again, a miracle happened. And I think here he was actually relaxing, and he thought he would win because he felt like there is nothing more.
Hmm.
But there is something more because the queen on d6. I think d6 is just the worst square for the queen because this was my idea the whole time.
Hmm.
And now he gets mated. He has no checks because the queen is on d6. It's amazing because if in this position
Hmm.
he keeps the queen on a6, but he plays the same, I can't do it anymore.
Hmm.
King h5, there's a check on e2.
Miracles really happen.
So,
Jeez.
miracles really happen. Yeah, you have to believe in them.
Hmm.
So here I play king g6, b5, king h5. Okay, it's very sad to see how your opponents. I wouldn't want it to happen to me,
Right.
but it's also satisfying when you see how your opponent's face changes and you know that, oh my God, I did it. It's not exactly a good feeling. It's happened to me, and I know it's. I just want to get out of there.
Right.
So the only thing to do is take here, and I think this is b6 is just out of spite because you
Yeah.
were winning for so long,
Hmm.
and here he resigned. But what I want you to show you with this is always try to look for counterplay because it's not a good game.
Hmm.
I played badly, but you have to try to see where your counterplay is, try to find active ideas, and always keep focused because your opponent will try to beat you.
Hmm.
I remember that grandmasters used to play completely drawish positions against me just because they had 200 extra elo points. And you get frustrated, but it's completely normal. Everybody will do that against you. They all want to beat you. It's happened to me that people lower rated than me got mad because I was playing drawish positions against them, or I was trying to beat them like I did here. But I think that's the mindset that you have to have.
Hmm.
You shouldn't get mad at people for doing that. You should expect it. It's normal.
Right.
Everybody wants to beat you and they want to win their game. They're not just going to hand it over.
Exactly. It's a war game. You're fighting
Yeah.
to win the kingdom, whatever. Um, Now this is a fantastic example of even on your opponent's side, the fact that you mentioned that he probably just relaxed in his winning position.
Yeah.
That's probably all you were waiting for, is for that
Yeah.
moment
Yeah. It's
of.
exactly what you hope for. Yeah.
Mhm. And it can happen at any time. I mean, I've same thing here. I've won games I shouldn't have won, but also lost games
And
I
I
should have
have
won.
lost games. Yeah, exactly. I've lost so many games just because I lost focus for a moment.
It's the worst feeling because
And
you could have prevented it.
I've lost a game that hurts a lot, that I was playing for national champion. That hurt a lot.
Ouch.
Just because I lost focus in a very equal position. I lost the game. I lost the title. Yeah.
Chess is like therapy right now. That's great, Mark. I'm glad to hear.
This is like just therapy, yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, how do you feel when, let's say you played a game from beginning to end and your opponent completely outclassed you? Does
Yeah.
that upset you, or do you just know that okay, there's something completely different I need to learn? How do you approach
No,
that?
usually I get mad at myself when I know that I make a mistake and I know I shouldn't have.
Okay.
I sometimes get mad at myself, even if I lose against much higher rated players than me, because I know that I didn't really put up any resistance. I feel like I
Okay.
made it so easy for them and I didn't play my best. But if I play well, or at least I think that I played well, and I just didn't understand the position, or I just there's something that I missed, maybe tactical calculation. It can happen. But you know that you got a playable position and you played and you did your best. I think that's the games that get me most quiet. I think I'm just happy about that game. Not maybe not happy. Happy is not the word. You're never happy when you lose, but at least you're at peace with yourself. It's just not that feeling that what did you do? I'm going to kill you.
Right,
Kill
exactly.
yourself.
Well, I mean, I bet you're going to be very excited to have over the board chess returning when all this
Yeah.
pandemic stuff is over. Are you going to remain active for a while in the chess scene?
Yeah. If I can, I would like to play Benasque Open this year in July.
All right, awesome.
Maybe you guys want to join Benasque Open. It's a great great place. Spain,
Alaskan.
Benasque.
Oh, Benasque. Oh, I heard
Yeah,
Alaskan. I have to look that one up.
Benasque. Yeah,
All right.
it's with Q.
And on your down, or I guess your free time, do you still stream on Twitch? You want to put that out
I
there,
haven't
or
streamed on Twitch yet.
you have a
Maybe I
YouTube channel?
will soon. Soon. I'm streaming with Chess24 now.
All right,
Uh,
congrats. Nice.
I have my weekly show on Tuesdays
Okay.
usually. I've had different series. The way I think my streams, they are interactive lessons, but the way I think them is I try to make them like a series of games, not necessarily look at theory or anything like that. You'll find them on YouTube. They are free. They are not courses on Chess24.
Okay.
They are just free interactive lessons that I have with my student, Sophie. She's about 1900, and we look at some ideas. We've looked at ideas in the Benoni. She wanted to learn that. We've looked at ideas in the Nimso-Indian for black. And now we're looking at attacking games from strong people,
All right.
strong players. They're called Deadly King Hunts. And the next one is Tuesday.
Guys, go ahead and check that out. Absolutely. I mean, this was fantastic content. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, oh, it's a great pleasure. So feel free again to go ahead and reach out to us. Go ahead and reach out to Raluca here. I'm not gonna.
I do have a YouTube channel though.
Oh, there it is.
I've just started it. I've just started it.
All right, let's go.
I have a YouTube channel. Yeah.
What is it?
It's my name, Raluca. What?
All right.
Sgircea.
Sgircea.
SGI.
If I hear it, I can do it. Sgircea.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I don't show up yet because I only have 2 videos probably. It's new.
Okay. But there we are. We have it. Chess24. She'll be in there somewhere for her personal channel. So go ahead and check her out as well. So we'll go ahead and do some final words. Thank you again for joining us tonight, and I hope everyone else in the chat had a great time. I really appreciate the questions from Mark. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
And have a
and for
wonderful
all the suggestions, we had some.
Yep, and go ahead and check her out on Instagram as well. She does a lot of workout videos, and I'm excited to see her goal of hitting 200 kilo.
Oh yes. I don't know when that will happen, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? For now, I'm going for squat with 100 kilos. I've got the deadlift. I'm going for the squat now.
All right, I'm gonna change and go exercise. I'll be right back. All right, thank you again. Have a great night, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.